Do you hear that? That's the sound that the quietest Lexus currently available makes. This is the Lexus UX300e. It's Lexus's first all-electric car, and it's also its most exclusive right now in India because it's not yet on sale. They plan to sell it in India. We have an expected price of maybe about ₹60 lakh, which sounds a little expensive until you drive it. Let's tell you why. Lexus and Toyota have a rich history of building hybrids, and the UX300e is actually based on one of their ICE/hybrid models, the UX. Now, this is smaller than the NX in the brand's lineup. It's based on Toyota's TNGA-C platform, or GAC for short, and it essentially shares its platform with cars like the Prius, the CHR, and the Corolla Cross abroad. Lexus is also toying with the idea of introducing the hybrid UX in India, but I think it's the electric that's more interesting. We say that because there's a huge gap between something like the MG ZS EV and luxury electrics like the Mercedes EQC, Audi e-tron and Jaguar I-Pace, with only Volvo's XC40 Recharge filling that spot currently. Though the Lexus offers up a very different, much calmer and more comfortable experience to that EV. So here's a quick run through of the spec sheet. The UX300e is front-wheel drive. The battery electric pack is 54.3 kWh and is sandwiched under the rear seats, under the floor, but that does mean it does take away from the ground clearance as well as the rear seat comfort just a little bit, which we'll get to. The electric motor puts out 204 PS and 300 Newton meters, which are respectable figures. But then you factor in that the UX300e weighs 1.8 tons, and you don't expect the best performance, but therein lies the surprise. What you will find if you put your foot down on some of Mumbai's more slippery road surfaces is that traction control does seem to be working overtime, and that could probably be down to the fact that the tires are high efficiency, low rolling resistance, which also contributes a little bit to the feeling that you're not getting the best of grip from this mechanical package. The Lexus does push you back into your seat, but not overtly so. We couldn't match Lexus's claimed 0 to 100 kmph of 7.5 seconds, instead managing a best of around 9 seconds purely because we just couldn't put the power down cleanly no matter what surface we tried. On the flip side, roll-on performance is right up there for the class. But you get that performance anywhere you put your foot down in the speed range, whether you're doing 40 in traffic or whether you're doing 90 on the highway. Lexus claims about 315 kilometers on the WLTP cycle for the car short with 18-inch wheels, and our in-city average charge readout of about 17 watt-hour per 100 kilometer would point to around 320 kilometer on a full charge. With a 6.6 kilowatt onboard charger, the UX would need 19 hours for a full charge on a regular 15 amp socket, while a 32 amp socket cuts that down to around 8 hours. 50 kilowatt fast charging will get you from 0 to 80% in a mere 50 minutes. The biggest highlight of the UX300e's driving experience is just how quiet and calm it stays in here. Lexus has done a great job with the NVH, and they've even gone to the lengths of polishing the gear tooth surfaces just to make that single-speed gearbox whisper quiet. Elsewhere, there's double glazed UV glass to help cut out sound. The wheel arch liners have been formulated especially to help reduce road noise, and obviously the fact that you've got the battery under the car, well insulated by the way, actually adds another level of soundproofing to the cabin. Getting away from standstill, you'll definitely appreciate the torque that the UX300e brings to the table, and it's very easy to keep ahead of traffic and get up to cruising speeds as well if you're on a highway. As a city car, the UX300 really does shine just because of its short turning circle. This is a 5.2 meter turning radius, which makes very short work of U-turns. Another aspect of the UX300e's driving experience that's highly impressive is just how comfortable the ride stays. It's a relatively straightforward first-in strut up front and independent double wishbone setup at the rear, but Lexus engineers have worked double time to make sure that body control is very, very tightly kept in check, which means that the ride quality is good. It doesn't get upset over speed breakers. It doesn't get upset over undulating surfaces. At the same time, at paces that's within reason, it stays very, very flat. And oh my God, the feel from the steering is just excellent, which is another area that the Lexus Takumi or craftsmen have paid special attention to, even providing an extra brace for the steering box at the front, just to make it a little more reactive to inputs while retaining that lovely natural feel. Considering this is a small car, the sense of stability and control that you get from it really is something to write home about. It feels very confidence-inspiring. What's somewhat less confidence-inspiring is the low ground clearance of 140mm, which means you do have to crawl over speed breakers to avoid grinding out the underfloor batteries, protected as they are. Now the ventilated disc front and rear do a great job of stopping the Lexus with 4 levels of Regen braking selectable via the paddle shifters. Now it doesn't really get to the point of offering one pedal braking even in its most aggressive mode, and the weird thing is that it doesn't really remember the level of Regen braking that you selected. So if you plan to set the level of Regen braking once and then use that to coast, just won't let you do it. For that, you will have to slot the gear lever off to the left and down into the B mode, which just seems like an unnecessary extra step to something that should be more natural. Of the 3 drive modes on offer, we actually really like the way Eco meters out the power, with power in normal feeling like it's a little too aggressive, where sport really goes all the way to the other side. The way the UX looks will potentially be a big draw. It definitely stands out with its ultra-sharp styling front and rear, and even though it's an electric, the Lexus spindle grille is still very much present. It's especially fetching in brighter colors like this celestial blue glass flake. The optional 18s are featured here and still barely fill out those sculpted wheel arches with their plastic cladding. In the metal, it looks more compact than its 4.5 meter long dimensions would suggest. And while its 2.6 meter long wheelbase is around the same as the Creta, interior space is a little more limited, especially at the rear thanks to the low roof, smaller rear windows and high floor thanks to the batteries that results in a knees up seating position. There aren't even any door pockets at the rear either. The front of the cabin is a different story though, with far more comfortable seats and more examples of that stellar Lexus build and material quality to talk about. The washi paper like top of the dash looks and feels incredible, along with a shifter that's been shaped by hand. It feels quite anachronistic though, with its 10.3-inch non-touchscreen infotainment, with its fiddly touchpad navigation, though it is refreshing to have physical controls for near everything, including the climate control, heated cool seats and a heated steering wheel. This particular car with the optional Takumi pack adds in a heads-up display and 13-speaker Mark Levinson audio that sounds great in a natural, not over-processed way, which is again quite refreshing. Though we wish the UX300e had a proper digital readout in percentage for the charge levels instead of this repurposed analog fuel level gauge. Ultimately, the absolutely brilliant comfort, flat handling and complete isolation offered by the Lexus UX300e helps you put aside its peculiar foibles and lack of space. For a smaller/younger family, it could be the perfect electric city car at around the Rs 60 lakh mark, but at prices much higher than that, its shortfalls may prove to be too costly to ignore. Lexus, we hope you're listening. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe and share this with someone who's in the market for an EV in this price range. Thank you.